What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Hess Project, and we're doing TV series reviews again. Like I said, we're going right into Hawkeye, the brand new Marvel Studios show to drop on Disney Plus today, the first 2 episodes, so let's get into it. Now, when this show was first announced, I wasn't super thrilled about it. I like Jeremy Renner as the character of Hawkeye, really fun and entertaining, just got better and better with the movies, but if you ask me, I still don't think the character of Hawkeye really needs its own property. I personally feel like they should have done some combination of Hawkeye and Black Widow for a solo film, because they teased that relationship and that bond between the two so strongly throughout the movies. We never really got to see it beyond just a few Avengers scenes in those movies. But we got the Black Widow movie that we got, and now we got Hawkeye. When the trailer dropped, it made it seem like it was gonna have a Christmas vibe to it, and it still kinda does in these first 2 episodes. You got the music playing in the background very faintly, takes place during Christmas, of course, with the snow, but I wish they would embrace it just a little bit more. I don't know how they would do it. I would like to have full-on Marvel Christmas stuff. Like, we're definitely gonna get that with the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special for sure. Let's talk about Jeremy Renner and Hailee Steinfeld. They're the main 2 leads in this show. Jeremy Renner's back as Clint Barton, Hawkeye, and then we get Hailee Steinfeld playing Kate Bishop, who's supposed to be taking over the mantle, so to speak. Really cool. I'm not gonna lie. I really did like Hailee Steinfeld in these first 2 episodes. She's probably the best parts of them. She's very charming. I like her. Very likable. And they set her up in this world, in this big, vast MCU in a very cool way. They bring it back to the events of the 2012 Avengers, where, the invasion of New York caused so much destruction and ruined so many people's lives. It ruined hers. She, I believe, lost her father in that wreckage. And it shows her as a little kid enduring all this and seeing these things for the first time, and her life kind of flashed before her eyes in one moment when, one of the aliens almost attacked and destroyed her entire building, but Hawkeye saved her, and she's been a fan of Hawkeye ever since. She looks up to him as this big hero. So that was really cool. I liked that tie-in. It was a nice way to bring the 2 characters together before they eventually met at the end of the first episode. First episode is kind of slow because we're getting introduced to the character of Kate Bishop, and they're just showing you what Hawkeye's up to. Like, he's just chilling with his family, takes his kids to see the Avengers the musical. It was so silly, but I do appreciate when the Marvel films like to acknowledge things that do happen in real life. If an event like that happened and it had some sort of fantastical ending where you had these costumed heroes save the day, of course they're going to make that into a musical. I mean, of course. I just never thought of it. My brain never went there, but it's cool to see we have creative people behind these projects in Marvel thinking of those little details, and it just makes for little funny moments like that. There's a few other actors in here I like. Tony Dalton, who plays the stepfather to Kate Bishop. He's also something Salamanca from Better Call Saul. I'm forgetting his name. I haven't seen Better Call Saul in a while, so forgive me. But he's really good in there. He's really good in here. I like to see other actors that you just never would imagine to be in a Marvel property crossover finally, like we did with Angelina Jolie and Salma Hayek for Eternals. We also get Vera Farmiga, who's, Lorraine Warren from the Conjuring films in here. She's the mother to Kate Bishop. Really cool stuff to see these people come in to legitimize these Marvel properties because, a talking raccoon and tree exist. So you gotta make sense out of something. End of the first episode, there's this black market deal going on where they're selling these crazy artifacts. Then they sell the Ronin sword that was found in the wreckage of the Avengers compound back in Avengers Endgame. And then they start to sell the companion piece, the Ronin outfit, that's crazy. The black market deal is then interrupted by the tracksuit mafia. Yeah, that's a thing. They wear tracksuits, they're a mafia, and they call themselves the Tracksuit Mafia. I'm thinking to myself, that's a little on the nose. Kate Bishop says, isn't that a little on the nose? Yeah, it's kind of silly, but I mean, if you're gonna go silly, then kind of embrace it, and I'm glad that Marvel does that and they're able to sometimes. They do quite often, but this is an instance where you have to. So they, I guess, are looking for the Ronin stuff as well. Kate finds it first, puts it on so she can save everyone that survived in that big explosion from the black market deal, takes them out of the room, fights a bit of the Tracksuit Mafia. Now there's pictures on the news of Ronin, that masked assassin vigilante is back after a few years. And of course, Clint Barton sees it on the news, so what does he do? He leaves his kids in the hotel room, goes out to find this fake Ronin in the middle of the night, finds them, unmasks them, and then boom, Clint meets Kate for the first time. She flips out in excitement because it's her hero. You're Hawkeye! That was a cool moment, but you could tell that Hawkeye Clint Barton is not about that hero life. He's not. He was thoroughly bothered when he was watching that Avengers musical, especially when they showed, Black Widow, and that's his homegirl. And yeah, you could tell he's just not about this hero life. He likes to stay low-key, and they mentioned this in the second episode. You're a little too low-key. You gotta focus on your branding. But that's never who Hawkeye was. He wasn't this hero in the forefront, saving people, saving lives. He was saving lives. He's a good guy, but he worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. He was an agent as opposed to Iron Man, hero agent in the shadows. Very, very different lifestyle. So to see him having to embrace that, because he has reached that status a little bit. He has. Everyone knows who he is. Everyone recognizes him because he never wore a mask. So they all know his name. They all recognize him as a hero, but he doesn't see himself that way. Going back to that old guy who purchased the Ronin stuff at the auction and then died later on that night, he was killed by a sword wound, and apparently Kate Bishop's stepdad is a sword aficionado. He knows all about his swords. He fences, or he says, I dabble. So he ends up, I have a feeling he did that because he was salty that the old dude bought all of his stuff. That's just my speculation, but if you guys have any thoughts, comment down below. I'd like to hear your thoughts. We get more tension between the stepdad and Kate Bishop. She does not trust this dude being with her mom alone together. She does not like that idea. And it's just that smile, his evil smile, and that thick mustache. It's creepy. We get a little screen time between Clint and Kate and seeing them get to know each other. And we can see Kate is slowly realizing that Clint isn't exactly the big hero that she made him out to be and thought that he was in her head. He's very much on the edge, way too careful about this stuff, and it could be a pain in the ass to be around. Without telling Kate that he was Ronin, he kind of explains to her that this dude is a dangerous person. He burned a lot of bridges with a lot of people during that time of when half the population was gone. He made a lot of bad enemies. The Tracksuit Mafia is one of them. And now that they had a little run-in with Kate Bishop wearing the outfit of Ronin, they're back. Now the Tracksuit Mafia is out to kill not only this Ronin person, but they apparently found out Kate Bishop's name. I kind of missed that, but they found her. Clint actually gets kidnapped by the Tracksuit Mafia, and I feel like it was done on purpose. He kind of just let them take him. And I think it's because he knows who the boss is and he's trying to get in touch with them. So that's interesting. I wonder what's going to go on there. Then we see that Kate has tracked his phone, and then she goes to find him, puts on her cool little purple and black outfit. She smashes down through the window where he's being held captive, crashes hard on the ground, and now there's guns pointed at her. Now they're both tied up. So they're both screwed. At the very end, we get a glimpse of a Tracksuit Mafia member going into this one room, and we see this one lady just engulfed in these bright red lights, just like listening to speakers. It looks like she's got her hands on speakers, and I'm guessing that this character is Echo. I feel like it is. I remember her face in a news article with the word Echo. I feel like this is the character of Echo. So let me know down below. I'm definitely gonna be looking up a bunch of videos talking about these first two episodes. I believe this is Echo. I don't know a whole lot about that character. I know there's ties to the Kingpin and Daredevil, characters that we haven't seen in the MCU yet, but we definitely have before in the Netflix series Daredevil. So is there a possibility? I hope so, dude. Fingers crossed on that, because we got a lot of obscurity coming in the Spider-Man movie next month. Can we get a little sprinkle of that in the Hawkeye show? Come on. Kevin Feige? Come on. That is going to be it for my review of the first 2 episodes of Hawkeye. Let me know down below, what did you think if you've gotten a chance to check them out yet? They're okay. They're pretty fun. It's still Marvel content. I have a lot of fun with just about anything Marvel puts out. But if I gotta be honest, this does not feel consequential at the moment. It feels very middle of the road. Nothing's going on. Really nothing happened in these first 2 episodes other than we got introduced to Kate Bishop. She met Hawkeye. Tracksuit Mafia, bro. I just hope the stakes rise a little bit and we get more stuff going on in the next episode, because there's only 6 episodes of this. This does not need to be longer than that, but it already feels like there's not enough for 6 episodes. So I don't know. We'll see. I hope we get a little more of a Christmas warmth to it, because I like me some Christmas stuff. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and check out my reviews I did for the Spider-Man films. We already covered the Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. Then we did the Mark Webb, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man films. Now we're moving on to the Tom Holland films. We got the Spider-Man Homecoming review next week. Then we got Far From Home, and it's all in the lead up to Spider-Man No Way Home. So there's a lot of content coming to the channel, guys, and we're going to be following Hawkeye for the next few weeks, so you might want to stick around, because there's always more to come.